Just a reminder to everyone, since it always gets lost in translation and it always seems like the biggest mic drop for people who don't understand what racism is. Saying that something is racist simply because someone is making fun of white people does not make it racist in the way you want it to be. Racism, in the way you're thinking, requires that you have both prejudice and the institutional power to subordinate that class of people with that prejudice. The power to subordinate is a key feature of racism. For example, the reason why blackface is racist, but whiteface in this case is not racist, is because blackface was used by the white people oppressing black people to normalize slavery and dehumanize black people as a whole.
Okay, here I'd like to pause and draw a clear distinction between two different conceptions of racism. The first is the one that most people with any common sense subscribe to, which is treating people differently based on the color of their skin or racial or ethnic identity. You're refusing to judge individuals based on the content of their character and instead choosing to judge them based on the color of their skin. And these could be positive judgments, negative judgments, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is that you have some kind of prejudice that has a racial basis. That is what most people think of most of the time when they're talking about the social problem of racism. But over the past 10 or 15 years, a new definition has popped up that has gained a lot of purchase among the gayest people of our culture because it leverages the stigma of the old definition while sneaking in a bunch of other bullshit that makes it so that the only class of people that can be convicted of racism is white people. Black people, brown people, Asian people, and anyone else who fits under the umbrella of people of color, which I must stress is just a gay euphemism for non-white people, all those people can never be convicted of racism because at all points throughout all of human history, they've never had any institutional power. But yeah, to focus on the example that she gives with blackface, she thinks that the reason that blackface is racist is because white people have a history of using blackface as an instrument of white supremacy. So absent that history/institutional power, there's nothing racist about painting your face a certain color to make fun of a group of people who have that skin tone. And here I'd like to highlight a point that I think many people will overlook, which is the nefarious nature of this kind of language game, right? Like, she understands, I don't think she's doing this intentionally, but whoever came up with this dog shit definition and exported it into most mainstream culture clearly understands that the label of racism has a very repugnant scent to it, right? And if you attach it to anyone or anything, it'll make that person seem like a piece of shit. So when you come up with this definition that only ever classifies white people as racist because they're the only ones that have any institutional or cultural power, it just enables, rationalizes, and excuses a whole lot of interpersonal racism that white people suffer at the hands of people who subscribe to this gay definition. And it tricks otherwise good people to think that they're doing something noble by participating in the whitewashing of the sin of treating someone differently based on the color of their skin, which is exactly what this person is doing right now. She thinks that she's doing a good thing by promoting this new definition that divides all of humanity into just white people and people of color. And here another point I want to make about why this definition of racism is stupid is that it ignores why we're right to care about racism in the first place, right? We are correct to care about other people giving others unfair advantages or disadvantages based on the color of their skin because we want to build a more fair and just society where people are judged based on the content of their character, right? That's first and foremost. We all as individuals want to be afforded dignity and respect irrespective of the color of our skin. And when we see someone disrespecting us based on the color of our skin, we are right to be pissed off irrespective of the identity of the person that was being racist towards us, right? Because if you're being a racist asshole towards me, whether you're black or white or brown or any other skin tone, I would consider that a bug in your software, not because of whatever unhappy history your people share with my people, but because of the unhappy mood that you're creating in the present as a product of your racism. And another funny quirk of this definition is that if we roll back the clock to the first instance of someone being an asshole to someone else based on their race, this bitch would have no reason to call that shit racist because that act would have occurred in a context where there were no institutions that the racist so-called people could have had a monopoly over. So whether it's a black guy being racist to a white guy or a white guy being racist to a black guy, in the first instance, we can never say that it's racist according to her because, again, they live in a primitive society that has yet to come up with a system that can enshrine racially disparate treatment. So that's another reason this shit is stupid. If you actually believe in it, you can't call the first instance of racism racism because there weren't any institutions around when it happened.
You want to know what Jim Crow laws were named after? A character who used blackface would basically perpetuate major, horrific, dehumanizing stereotypes against Black people and quite literally have storylines that convinced white people that Black people actually enjoyed being enslaved. White people have been in power and have used racism, prejudice in combination with institutional subjugation. Institutions, laws, systems, systemic issues have been intertwined with our racism. I think a lot of parents with children have hurt this conversation who claim to be anti-racist because they'll say, well, I want my kid to be nice to everyone and treating everyone equally and blah, 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 and all that. That is about character. That is not about the racism that white people who are racist try to claim. You need to differentiate those.
What differentiation is there to make? If you're a racist person, you have shitty character. Like, well, why are you acting? And again, actually, I think this further clarifies the point that I was making. The only purpose for this definition is to cast white people as a uniquely evil and racist bunch of people that can never be forgiven for the original sin of being born as white people. Like, what she's about to say is that when a minority acts like a racist asshole, they can be excused for it because they don't have institutional power. And we might even be inclined to say that that person has shitty character. But still, we can't call them racist because, again, according to this definition, minorities just get carte blanche on all the fucking racism that they want because they lack institutional power.
The minority groups who are not in power, their racism, them using generalizations about white people, their historic oppressors for hundreds upon hundreds of years, unless you have the prejudice in combination with the power to subjugate and subordinate someone, that is not going to impact you the way it impacts them. Even if I was told I was a cracker with no culture who doesn't season my food and has no rhythm, colonizer, milk cricket, no purpose flower, even if that hurt my feelings, that doesn't hurt my feelings in combination with an institutional setup of me being oppressed because a bunch of people think I'm a milk cricket.
Okay, so in her mind, when someone's making clearly racially motivated attacks against her, it's okay, even if it hurts her feelings, because she, by no fault of her own, was born as a white person. So again, this is a very stupid definition for people to be promoting because it excuses bigotry as applied through the lens of race, which most of us commonly refer to as racism. It's saying, okay, no attack that you ever make against white people for being white people is really that bad because white people are uniquely evil until the end of time. Or not until the end of time, actually, until whenever they're put in a situation where they're subjugated by others on the basis of the color of their skin for a long period of time.
That's also why us saying, yes, all men and men are trash and wow, men suck and men are unsafe and men need to get it together and men are our number one predators as women, which is true. Yeah, that's not sexist. Everything's sexist seeking. This is where you're getting it wrong. The sexism that you want it to be, in that you want it to be something outlawed and cancelable, is not that, because we would have to be in a place, women, to subjugate you on a systemic level. You, white men, have been in every single room where decisions are made, and it fucking shows. Let me know the day, the year even, that you gained the right to vote.
Okay, so because white men in particular can't name the year that they gained the right to vote, they can never complain about women. Wait, what? Why is she saying white men in particular? Like, shouldn't it be men in general? Okay, well, I think black men got the right to vote in 1965. Whatever it is, like, why is she singling out white men as being uniquely evil against women? You know, aren't there like a couple black guys? Aren't there a couple niggas who smack their bitches up from time to time? You know what I'm saying? In trying to make the point that she's making about the battle of the sexes, why is she constraining the aggressive party to just white men? Like, please include the brothers too. They be fucking up on occasion as well. And the same goes with South Asian and Middle Eastern men, right? There are lots of South Asian and Middle Eastern men who treat women like shit. But again, she's just constraining it to white men in particular because she assumes she doesn't have the right to criticize those kinds of men because they have a different skin color than her.
Yes, it is technically racist for you to be not picked on a rec team basketball league because everyone else is black and they don't want the white person on their team. But to understand the difference between that happening to you as a personal experience and it happening on a level where that is copied and pasted to every single facet of their life, that is why I don't take seriously when people cry racism who are white, because I'm just like, girl.
I'm not sure I also take it seriously. Like, some white people are pussies, granted, but I do take people's personal experiences seriously because all people's lives are their personal experiences, right? And the only reason that we take it seriously when it comes to black people, or ideally the only reason we take it seriously when it comes to black people, is that we care that black people have good personal experiences. And to the extent that our institutions are magnifying or amplifying racially negative outcomes for black people, we want that to stop because we care about black people's personal experiences. So yeah, to conclude, I'm just the kind of person who cares about everyone's personal experiences and hopes that all people, regardless of the color of their skin, have good ones. And I just feel that this definition, this prejudice plus power definition of racism, this gay ass, effete ass, faggot ass definition has got to go if we want to achieve a world where everyone is equally committed to that same project. So yeah, that's all I got to say on this topic. Like and subscribe if you fuck with the vibes. Buy me a coffee and I'll keep it real. Thank you for watching me talk my shit and letting me share the way that I feel. See you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
I woke up to blast, felt the walls of my room shake from the shockwaves, and I thought of you while scanning the sky for the trails of the rockets. And I felt the vibration buzz from my pocket. You sent me a text